Correct. Elon Musk, Sundar Pichai, and who's the person who's on the top right? So he is Ajay Nagar. Correct. So you recognize these three people because they have built their own brand, right? Now, coming to what all you have to do on LinkedIn, make sure that you put a professional profile picture. You can know the difference between the right and the left. When a company or a HR recruiter sees the people who have put profile picture like how it is on the right side, they directly block you and they blacklist you for the company. Okay, so always ensure do not put the profile picture which you have put it on Instagram. Make sure that you put a professional profile picture. And next thing is you also need to have a well curated bio. Okay, just putting a student at national college or any such thing will not give you in a better rank. Companies will not be able to see you. This is how LinkedIn algorithm works. Okay, so after this, what we just discussed now of an example of A, B, and C, right? So you have to ensure that you put content on what you're doing or what is necessary for your audience. Instagram is for social life, but LinkedIn is not for that. LinkedIn is what projects you're doing, how is it going to help the companies which are going to see you. All these things needs to be uploaded over there. And I've also seen students who just message on LinkedIn saying that, hey, I need an internship in your company. This is not the way to ask for an internship. First, you have to connect with people on LinkedIn, tell what you're doing, introduce yourself, tell that you're working on this and this project, and then ask him politely if there's an opening for an internship in a particular company. So, these are certain ways where you have to ask for an internship. Never directly message a person that, hey, I'm in need of a job, can you refer me to this and this company? No one is going to do that. What is an internship? Can you guys share the definition what you guys think what is an internship? Don't worry even if it is wrong. You can share it in the chat. What do you guys think an internship is? Working with a company with very little or no salary to gain experience. Practical part or application of your skills. Limited period to get work experience. So let us learn what internship is. Okay. And what all you guys need to do for an internship. When you are a student, let's say you're in your first year, second year, or third year, it is not defined that you have to do an internship only in your final year, right? You have to be early to the professional world. It's gonna help you. If you are in your first year, this is your right time to go start an internship. And internship helps you to get into the professional world, right? So this is the best way where you can get into it and then be exposed to how corporate culture works, because most of the students are not aware of how this works, and it becomes very difficult if you directly jump on to the job, and then very difficult to move on from there. And also, when you're a student, you do not know in which field should I go in, right? Most of you might not be interested in coding as well. There are various fields like growth hacking, digital marketing, product building, product management, and even in tech also there are multiple fields: web development, app development, ML, AI, data science, blockchain. So you do not know in which field you might be interested on. So this gives a real-time exposure to you that whether this field suits you for your professional life or not. So this defines your interest while doing an internship. So most of the things you may not learn through various of the courses or through online. You only learn while you do a real-time project, right? So to do a real-time project, you have to get into a company and then work as an intern there. This is gonna help you. So you develop new skills while you're doing an internship. These are very much necessary or very much required when you go into the professional world or the corporate world. And when you start doing up multiple internships, it becomes or it adds value to your resume and your profile. Also, another suggestion for you guys: I've seen people where they do lots of marketing internships and then apply for technical jobs. It will not add value to your resume. Do internships which or where you think you can do a job in that field. Do not do unnecessary internships which will not add value to your resume. Your resume should always be one pager for freshers. Never go beyond one page. Mention only what is necessary. So I'll tell you some of the things which you should not do in a resume. I've seen people who mention their father's name, their grandfather's name, how many people are there in your family, your place of birth. These things are not necessary for a company. They don't care about these things. Also, I've also seen students who mention their achievements as I've won the first prize in treasure hunt in my college. I've won the first prize in Sudoku competition in my college. If you mention these kind of things, it will directly be rejected. Industry follows a certain protocol. If you are applying to mass hiring companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Accenture, make sure that your resume is qualified for ATS. Guys, what is the full form of ATS? Can you share it in the chat? Applicant tracking system. So these kind of things, let's say when you're applying for TCS or Infosys, they get lakhs of resumes every year. A person cannot always be sitting at the back to view all the lakhs of resumes that have been applied for the company. So they use this called applicant AI model to filter out the resumes which are irrelevant. Check what the company needs and always make a tailor-made resume. Do not make a resume for every single company you apply for, right? So you have to make a tailor resume for various companies. Let's say you should not make a resume and then apply for all the companies. Make a resume for TCS, make a resume for Infosys, make a resume for Cognizant, this way, because different companies have different requirements. All the companies will not have the same requirement. As I've already told you, if you mention that you have skill sets of mobile application development and you apply for web developer, it is irrelevant for the company. Make sure that you mention in your resume what is very much necessary for the company. I will share you guys certain templates later on after the class where you can look onto it and then make your resumes. This is one major thing which is right now going on in the industry. There is a difference between upskilling and an internship. Internships are those where you get paid or it is unpaid. Upskilling are those programs where people teach you or train you in various technologies and you pay for that. Never combine both an internship and an upskill. Companies sell upskilling courses in the name of internships. Do not do that. It will not add value to your resume and you will be blacklisted if you do those kind of things. Now, which are the portals where you can get an internship? Can you guys share some of the portals which you use to find internships on? Upwork is not used for internships, it is used for freelancing jobs. Any other portals? Okay, so before this, do you guys want this an interactive session or do you guys just want me to tell you all the things? If you want this to be an interactive session, you have to be active. Okay. So some of the portals where you can get internships are Indeed is for jobs, LinkedIn is a major platform, Internshala is there. You can also find internships on Merge Intern as well. To stay updated on getting internships, you can follow Merge Intern on Instagram. Apart from this, HackerRank, Geeks for Geeks, these are some of the portals where you can get internships. Okay, so now for this, what is upskilling and why is it necessary? Why should you learn courses? Is it necessary that you need to know things or just what you learn from your college is sufficient to get a job? Industry is moving with a fast pace. You have to keep along with it. Do not expect the college to spoon feed you every single thing what is necessary. Upskilling is very important because you can explore various career opportunities. You have to also be industry ready. Most of the things we college are here you know practical things. So this is the current scenario with all the colleges. I'm not talking with respect to a particular college or anything. It is with respect to all the colleges. Students have to put in more effort and then learn what is necessary for an industry. When you go or step into a college, or a corporate world, you cannot expect your manager to come onto your podium and then train you on a particular language. This will not happen there. They will send you a documentation or a PDF. You have to read that, learn the language, and then finish the project. This is how things are going to go when you step into the corporate world. You have to get used to it. This is the reason why you guys have to do internships. Recently, I gave a talk at RVC college, and there was a student who was studying in his 11th grade or first PUC. He came up to me after the talk and then asked me that he is doing an internship at a company and wants to do another internship. See, he is in his 11th grade. This is how the competition is increasing for you guys. When people of 11th grade are doing internships, companies do not care what you have learned or anything. They see whether you can solve a company's problem or not. Let's say if a company's website is not good, they hire a web developer. Are you able to solve a company's problem or not? This is what a company looks at. If you are able to do it, they hire you. Most of the startups or mid level companies do not even care about your marks card. They just see whether you have done a particular project, look into your GitHub profile, and then finally give you an offer. Now, in this world, competitive programming is increasing. When a company posts an internship on LinkedIn, it is not that students from your class apply, or from your college, or from your city, or state, or country. It is students from across the world apply for that internship. You have to be competitive enough to get the jobs that people from all over the world apply for, right? So these are some of the places where you can upskill yourself: Code Academy, Udemy, Upgrad, Coursera, and there are tons of YouTube channels which you can look onto, like New Boston, Free Code Camp, Programming with Mosh. Many such YouTube channels are there. So I would recommend you guys to look onto those kind of platforms to upskill yourself and be industry ready. Okay. So do you guys have any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can unmute your mic and ask, or as well share in the chat. Do you guys have any doubts? Can you guys give me a heads up if you are able to see the presentation? Okay, that's great. So let's start with the next topic, which is on introduction to Python and career opportunities in Python. But before that, how many of you here are interested in coding or programming and want to have a career in this. It's okay if you're not interested as well. Okay, so Apurva has a question on important is competitive programming for an analyst. We are applying for jobs like data engineering because my focus is a bit of coding as well as statistics. See, for any field for that matter, competitive programming is very much necessary. Let's say even if you are interested in statistics, you have to ensure that your computer understands what you are telling to it, right? So even if it is maths, you have to interact with the computer through programming. For an analyst, mainly Python is used. And if you are scraping data, Python is used. So ensure that you be very competent in Python programming as well as databases. Okay, so let's start with this topic. Now, this is how the trend in Python is increasing every single year, right? So Python is the number one trending language in current world. Next comes JavaScript and then Java, C hash, PHP, and then C++. As the trend is increasing, the opportunities increase and the number of people learning this language also increases. The main reason why people are learning Python or the trend is increasing is mainly because it is an open source language. Tons of libraries are there in Python, which makes it easier for everyone to code in it. If you see GitHub, every single year, this is the percentage of pull requests that happen. Python is nearly in the second place, but it is definitely will go on to the top because most of the requests happen for web development. Nearly 20% of the pull requests on GitHub is from Python. So I'm just trying to make you guys understand how Python is increasing day by day and how you should be increasing your hard work in learning Python. So this guy whom you see on the right is Van Rossum. He is the one who introduced Python to the world. He invented this programming language. This is a very easy and intuitive language. Everyone can understand it. It is like plain English. Also, it is since it is very easy and very intuitive, it does not make that it is not more competitive. It is actually more competitive than many programming languages. Major feature is it is open source and anyone can contribute, which makes it as most used language by any company. That's the main reason. This also comes under the demand and supply, right? So since most companies use it, people tend to learn more because opportunities are created there, right? So one or the link to the other. For everyday task, it is very sustainable. For every single application which you use every day, Python is used. If you see here, Python is used in AI, cloud, embedded systems, scripting, and with many other applications. If we go on to AI, it is used in speech recognition, computer vision, ML, data science. Speech recognition, what you see in YouTube, computer vision, that is with image processing, applications like Cam Scanner, Google Lens, Adobe, Microsoft. Many such applications use computer vision, self driving cars. Then comes machine learning, which most of the companies use to get more customers attracted towards it. For example, let's say when you buy a product in Amazon or Flipkart, Amazon, let's say you buy a soap on Amazon or Flipkart, it also shows you a couple of products that other people buy it along with it, right? So you might be interested in buying those. When you watch a movie in Amazon Prime or Netflix, it recommends you couple of other videos. This is called as recommender system. These are the places where machine learning is used. Now coming to data science. Most of the companies push or have their big billion days, Great Amazon Great Indian Festival, only in the starting or ending of the month. They do not have it in the mid month. It is because companies know that people tend to spend more money either in the starting of the month or at the ending of the month. They do not spend money in the mid of the month. These are some of the use cases of data science which companies use through their data where people tend to buy more. Then when it comes to cloud, it is web apps or REST APIs. Which are the web apps which you guys have seen? Can you guys share it through the chat? There is a difference between a website and a web app. If you see National College website, that is a website. But if you see Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, it is a web app. Okay, so this is the difference, because most of the students confuse on what is a website and a web app. Both of them are totally different. And then next comes REST APIs. These are used in the backend. Coming to the electronics, that is Internet of IoT and robotics. Both of them use Python. Web scraping, when you scrape data from Facebook, Twitter, or many such websites, Python is used. When you host a website online, Google scrapes your website data, and based on the keywords you have used, it ranks your website. This is how Google uses web scraping. And when you go to Twitter, when as soon as you tweet, Twitter scrapes the tweet and then checks on the sentiment. Let's say whether you are happy, sad, all the things can be known through your tweets. And then comes, after you have scraped the data, you need to process your data and then automate it. All these things are done through scripting and with the help of Python. There are libraries which are built for games. Pygames are there. And then businesses. Let's say if you're going to an big bazaar or any mall, while you're checking out, they have these systems there, right? On all these softwares, Python is used. Desktop applications, desktop softwares, Python is used. So till now we have seen major applications of Python. But what I want to ask you guys is, where can you not use Python? What is the disadvantage? You can share it through the chat. Where can you not use Python? I want all of you to answer this. What is one thing that is missing here and you use it daily? I want all of you guys to think and then answer for this. Harivatsa has answered it correctly. Yes, Madhu. So it is mobile application development, mobile apps. Python does not support Android or iOS. Libraries are being developed for mobile application development, and in couple of months we can develop mobile apps as well. Also, Python cannot be used in the front end web development. It can be used in front end app development like desktop apps, but cannot be used in website development front end. Only JavaScript is used. So this is how a software engineering career ladder goes when you step into the corporate world. So Mahesh has asked a question onto what is the difference between a front end and back end in web development. Okay. So when you see this option of public chat here in this classroom, what you view here on the public chat is the front end work. And when you click on it, what happens is done in the back end. Okay. Why can't we use Python for front end and website? Only JavaScript has been built till now for front end web development. Python cannot be used. Python is used in the back end. So you start as a software engineer and then move on to senior software engineer, technical lead, engineering manager, and then go to director of engineering. Or you have another field where you go to staff engineer, senior staff engineer, principal engineer, and director of engineering, and then CTO. So it takes about, let's say, 12 to 15 years of experience to go to this level of CTO of, let's say, an MNC or a big company. So these are the primary skills which you guys need to know or which is necessary for current industry. When you go into programming languages, you either need to know Python, Java, or JavaScript. You also need to know version control like Git, GitHub, or Bitbucket, or similar like to that. You have to know either one of them. Then comes system design, and then when you go into computer science, you need to know how an algorithm is designed, data structures, very much necessary in interviews, object oriented programming languages, and functional programming, OOPS concepts and functions. So when you go to libraries in Python, there are tons of libraries, standard language modules. Like if you go into data science or machine learning, you have to know NumPy, Pandas, numerical Python, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. These kind of libraries you have to know, and domain specific frameworks. When it is backend of web development, you need to know Django. Okay, so these are very much necessary. So if you have to go on to desktop application, right, you need to know TK Inter. These kind of frameworks have to be known by you guys. General problem awareness. So you have to know when a problem occurs, what you need to do. How do you solve errors? All these things you get to learn when you work on with real time applications. Strong math foundations is very much necessary if you go into programming field. General aptitude, and you need to know very much onto how you need to communicate with your team members. Business communication is very much mandatory. How you have to send an email, how do you interact with other employees. You can join our community on Instagram, Telegram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and you can search Merge Intern there, and you will be able to join our community. We will be sharing onto various technology things. We'll be calling speakers from emerging technologies, and then you guys can interact with them on how they started with it. You can check out our channel on YouTube, Merge Intern, and subscribe over there. We have put up videos on how you need to apply for internships and what are the skills necessary as well. If you have any doubts, you can ask them now.
And also, please fill in those feedback forms. Don't forget to do that. And those of you who have doubts, please stay back and you can ask them right now.
So please fill this form before you leave the session. So did this session help you guys onto learning how the industry functions?